don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
How's it going, guys? Brady Hauser here. You're watching Out of the Fast Lane live from the Chili Bowl Nationals, and this is brought to you by Swagger Factory Apparel with this beautiful jacket they made for me for all these interviews. Parks Companies LLC, Ted's Body Shop. We have Barney's Sign Company, Utica Rome Speedway, 7-Eleven Racing, and many, many more. Logos like Out of the Fast Lane, the VHP, the Driller, all on this jacket. Can't really see the Parks Companies, but it's on the back there. But also a special thanks to my mom and dad, my Aunt Tammy, and my Uncle Mark. But now, it's time for the video. Enjoy. Ran into a friend of the channel's, Brayton Laster, hanging out here at his first Chili Bowl Nationals here this week. It's been a little bit of a rocky start. We'll talk about that in a second, but how you enjoying this experience so far, man?
It's a really, really neat atmosphere. There's very few races I've been to, and I've been to a lot of races in my young career where I felt an atmosphere this cool, this welcoming, and it's one big community inside the expo center here. So having a really fun first couple of days, and excited to get on track later this week.
Absolutely. Yesterday you weren't able to get out on track. The first session you said you weren't going out because your teammate flipped in a prior session.
Yeah, we were planning on not going out to begin with, just kind of let the track work itself in. We had to finalize some setup stuff on our car, and we had a teammate go out just 3 or 4 groups before us, and he flipped his pretty good. And we had already called the first session a scratch while I was dealing with make sure I was comfortable in the car. And there's no point in going out if you're not going to be comfortable in the car and be safe. Which I'm sure we'll talk about that later. We made it around social media last night. Went out for the second session, and people weren't happy, I guess, with how close my helmet was to the roll bar padding or to the top of the halo. So we had to come in this morning and get it fixed, which all it was had extra thick seat pad in there. I just literally took it out, hopped in, and we're 2 inches below the bar. So I'm gonna work on that, make sure I have even more clearance going into Thursday. But yeah, we had a shifter issue yesterday. Got it all fixed, ready to go.
Absolutely. You were talking about how there's a lot of drivers you can talk to, you want to talk to in the pits. You went up to Robert Bell, who is also a friend of our channels. Why? Well, what about Robert Bell is so important to you? I think
he's big and tall, and I'm big and tall. I already wanted to see how he was able to maneuver in these cars. Because that's what I've been struggling with a lot this week, is making sure I'm comfortable, which everyone I've talked to says you will not be comfortable in these cars. So that was good to hear. But, when I first started, researching the Chili Bowl, I've watched it for years, and I've heard of Robert, and I've seen some videos, but as you do more and more footage and start seeing who are these bigger names, the legends of the Chili Bowl, Robert Bell was a name I came across a lot for being like a legend, not because he's out there dominating any main, but because he's here just on the bare minimum having fun. And that is someone that I can relate to a lot of my career. I was kind of sat there and doing everything we can to get to the track. And, we know we're not going to be competitive out the gate. We know we're not going to win, but we can have fun.
Absolutely. ARCA schedule this year, what's that looking like? I know you said you're missing speed weeks for the first time in a while. What's your schedule looking like?
Yeah, I don't really know what races yet we're going to run, or with who, or how, or what, or when, or where, or why. We do have a couple races I know kind of, not lined up. We've talked to a couple of teams as far as where we want to be at next year for what races. We just got to kind of put the puzzle pieces together. And a lot of the teams are down at Daytona this past weekend testing, and they were getting ready for that. So I haven't had a chance to really talk to anyone else and finalize anything. As of now, we're missing speed weeks for the first time in a couple of years. I'd like to maybe put together a last-second deal if it's possible, but it's just not looking too likely right now. But we're going to be back on track. We have a lot of awesome partners this upcoming year. Casey Arbor's Tree Care is helping us out with our Chili Bowl efforts. Peerless Pump has been a huge help with the last year and this year. So a really cool story there. And then trading cards. I've also really gotten into trading cards. If you ask people on social media, I've seen.
And you signed 1,500 of them.
And yeah, so that's a really cool deal. I'm coming out Panini next year. So we're hoping to do a lot of bigger races to kind of help my name get more out there between the trading cards. And we have NASCAR.shop helping us out as well, and a couple others. Just kind of coming back from last year and coming back on board. So we got to talk to everyone and see wherever they want us to race.
Absolutely. You're not racing till Thursday? Is that correct? Or Wednesday?
As of now, Thursday.
Okay, so you got a couple of days of just sitting back. Is it a partying kind of time, or are you just going to sit back and watch all the racing?
I'm not a big
party.
I'm not a big party guy. I got here this morning about 11 o'clock. I got here yesterday about 8, I believe it was 7:38, and I worked on our car until 6, 7 at night. Just trying to get me more comfortable in it and just going through setup stuff and everything. And this morning I got here about 11 o'clock. And I'm not racing today. I was in no hurry to get here. I caught up on sleep. I got in very, very late the night before yesterday, and so I didn't have a whole lot of sleep going into yesterday. And got straight to work, worked on the car, except people were not happy with the seat. The way my helmet was above or parallel to the headrest, so got right to work on that, as well as replacing the shifter that we had an issue with yesterday. So it's going to be a couple days of watching and learning, this kind of experiencing just how this whole event plays out, and where people tend to run as you get throughout the night. Earlier groups where they run, later groups where they run, and hopefully we have some success on Thursday.
Absolutely, and I have to ask, what would a driller mean to you if it were to happen?
I'm not expecting one by any means, but if we manage to pull off a true upset, I'd put my odds at plus 250,000, and if we manage to pull that one off, man, I don't know what we would do. I plan on this being a one and done for the time being. I'd love to come back and mention sometime later this year. It's nothing in the works right now, though. As far as the Chili Bowl goes, I think we're going to need a lot more preparation, a lot more work before we can come here confident of even making the A main. If making the A main to us would be a huge deal.
Well, Brayton, I appreciate you chatting, and nice to finally catch up with you in
Yes, sir.
person.
It's been a couple years. I appreciate it, Brady.
All right,
Thank you,
good luck
buddy.
this week.